I'm Cecilia Morgan, and this is the story of my faith. As a child, I really wanted to be good, but as hard as I tried, I just couldn't. My troubles seemed to get worse in my teenage years. When I was almost 13 years old, my family lost their home to a foreclosure, and we were homeless. Our family was broken up, and long story short, within a couple years, I was living in rural Idaho, sharing a bedroom with 7 other family members. The transition for me was not easy. When I was 17 years old, I started wondering if maybe God was just a myth, and so I decided to quit trying to be good and just start doing things I knew were, wrong and terrible, just to try to satisfy something inside of me. Just was not a happy person. And by 19, I thought maybe the thrill of doing something radical is what I needed, and I just had all these crazy ideas of things I was going to do. About that time, a new girl was hired at the place where I worked. We became friends, and after lunch one day, she invited me to church. I started attending regularly for a couple months. Because I believed that there was a God, I thought that made me a Christian, but my friend's life really condemned me. It wasn't really what she said as much as just how she lived. She was just so different than me, and when I'd ask her about it and just how did she do it, she said, in her opinion, Christian means Christ-like. It means you emulate Christ and you pattern your life after the Bible. And that was not me. However, on January 13th, 1995, I went to another service with my friend. And at the close of the service, the pastor asked, if we wanted to pray. And most people went down and prayed, but I didn't. And so then after the song, she said, do you want to kneel down and pray with me? And I didn't want to look like I wasn't a good Christian like her, so I went ahead and bowed my head with my friend. And her mother and several others from the church came over and they prayed with me. We were probably there about, 2 hours, and I just couldn't believe that anyone would care enough to pray with me for so long. And then it just clicked. If they love me this much, then God must really love me. After all, He was the one who died on the cross for me. And at that moment, the pastor's wife said, Jesus died on a cross because He loved you so much. Now let His death be for a purpose. Let Him wash away your sins and let Jesus come into your heart. And I really prayed that in my heart. I really did want God to come in, and I felt bad that He suffered all of that, and for me to call myself a Christian but still live the sin in my life, it just didn't seem right. And so I prayed and really gave my heart to the Lord and asked for forgiveness for all of my sins, and I felt like a burden lifted from my shoulders. The next day, I was just like, oh no, what did I just do? I had all these habits and sinful things in my life, and I knew I couldn't just suddenly get rid of them. Right then and there, the Lord spoke to my heart and said, that is why I saved you. I came into your heart and I made a change, and you need me. Soon after being saved, I found an interesting verse. In all thy ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths. And I decided that was going to be my mantra for a living. By having Jesus in my heart and obeying what He says to do in the Bible, God helped me start making good decisions and turn my life around. My life is happy and blessed because I have chosen to acknowledge God in all my ways, and in return, He is directing my path.